Hello, magandang gabi. I'm your Tito Goby, and tonight we're gonna do a reaction to Valve's newest game, Deadlock. All right, so let's get to it. There we go. This video is from Basic, and the video is called "What the Hell is Valve Cooking?" Deadlock.
Deadlock is a game that is absolutely blowing up right now, and for good reason, with player numbers upwards of 100,000 players.
Wow, okay. Within 24 hours. Okay, this is from all-time peak from 17 months ago. 17. This hasn't been out yet, and it's already getting these numbers. 103,770 within 24 hours peak. All-time peak 171,490. And the game's not out yet. Let's see. I guess it came out or they're doing beta tests on it since 2024. 2 years. Or almost 2 years. Actually, it's just 1 year. We just started the year. They already have this many people. Great.
Each and every day for the past month, more and more people are getting in on the action. While a consistent 100k players for any game is nothing to scoff at, it's easy to forget that this game isn't even out yet. Deadlock is a third-person MOBA shooter being developed by the one and only Valve, the ones behind classics like CSGO, Half-Life, Dota, Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress, Portal, and perhaps the biggest of all, the Steam storefront. You know, like the one you're using for 99% of all the games you play on PC. For years, Valve has always been looked at as kind of the darlings of the gaming industry, despite some hiccups and controversy that it seems no large studios can avoid, especially these days. Games developed by Valve always seem to have that it factor, something about them grabs the player and does a really good job of not letting go. There's a reason why games like Left 4 Dead 2 and Team Fortress 2 still maintain very respectable player numbers despite being released 16 and 18 years ago respectively. Meanwhile, we have AAA titles nowadays being completely shut down after 2 weeks or struggling to maintain this player base. But the focus of this video is Deadlock. After putting in about 80 hours over the past 2 or so weeks, it's safe to say this game has completely taken over my life. I can't remember a point where I've been this addicted to a game, even when at times I'm getting completely shafted in the process.
All right, you gamers out there, here's the new crack. Get ready.
Like so many before, this game has that it, and I wanted to dig a little deeper to see why that might be. The very first time the public got wind of a new Valve game being developed was in April of 2019. Leaks began to spread after files were found within Dota 2 for a project known as Citadel. At this point, the community started scrambling, trying to figure out what this could be. Remember, at the time, we were still 7 months away from Half-Life Alyx's announcement and almost a full year from its release date. People knew about a Half-Life VR game being made, but Citadel had people scratching their heads. At first, it was speculated to simply be an area within Half-Life Alyx that the player would maybe go to, but this idea was quickly squashed, and people discovered Citadel was an entirely separate Source 2 project.
Upon further investigation, Citadel is actually an entirely different Source 2 project. If you open up the Source 2 SDK, which right now is just the destination tools, there are different projects that are in the game's files that Source 2 can be opened up to operate under. And one of them is HLVR, and another one is just called Citadel.
Now, at this point, we actually need to rewind a bit further back to early 2018. You see, Citadel served as a very early dev test version of what we know now as Deadlock. We know this because in August of 2024, a developer by the name of Yoshi, who we will be getting into a bit more later, posted to the Deadlock Discord early footage of Citadel, with the player in first person moving down a lane with what seemed to be antline minions. At one point, we can even see the enemy's minion wave and ours fighting against each other. But back to 2019. At this point, nobody had any clue that this existed, and it would be quite a while till we heard anything more. It was now March of 2020. Half-Life Alyx was released, and to nobody's surprise, it was a success. However, internally, Valve began shifting developmental resources to Neon Prime. This was being developed as a third-person MOBA shooter that had heroes with unique abilities. Sound familiar? Yes, Neon Prime was Deadlock before Deadlock, and it would remain as Neon Prime for a number of years, with Valve even registering a trademark for it in October of 2022.
Neon
Valve
Prime.
was all in on Neon Prime, and looking at early gameplay of it, you can clearly see how this turned into this. Even some of the current roster is almost one-to-one to who they were.
Ooh, okay, let's see. How many characters are there, right? So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 40. And we got 2 blanks. So minus 2, that's 38 characters already. Not bad. You got Elvis over here. You got a police officer from England, I guess. You got a detective over there. You got another detective over there. You got some beast-like creatures. You have a Minecraft creature also. This looks like another strongman kind of type. The characters look solid. You got a bellhop. I am very curious about the bellhop. All right. Continue. Let's continue.
In Neon Prime. The biggest difference between Deadlock and Neon Prime was the setting. As the name implies, Neon Prime was set in a sci-fi, cyberpunk-like alien world known as Fracture, so quite the departure from what Deadlock would become and is today. Now, the main reason for the complete aesthetic overhaul is cited as, quote, negative feedback from playtesters regarding its art style and setting. Valve,
yeah, pretty much people are already getting sick of Overwatch, which is set in the future. Apex set in the future also. What else? Fortnite is kind of set in the future, but of course in a parallel universe. So yeah, I can understand.
saw the writing on the wall and completely scrapped the cyberpunk art style and transformed it into the occult old school American look we have.
Ooh. Diesel punk. There you go. But with magic. Occults. Interesting, yes.
Today. Previously, I mentioned that some of the roster was carried over from Neon Prime to Deadlock, and it was probably more than you think. Bebop, Haze, Kelvin, Lash, Shiv, Viscus, Wraith, Yamato, all these characters that you either love or hate were essentially taken from Neon Prime and plugged right into Deadlock, with usually only some changes to their character models. Besides Viscus, he was actually a pufferfish. But there's even more that you can clearly see who.
Okay. Elvis looks like a monkey with a cyber arm. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm sorry. To me, at this angle, it looks like a monkey with a Elvis haircut. Man.
They wound up being. For example, Inferno from Neon Prime very clearly turned into Infernus, keeping many of the same animations. So hopefully it's clear to see that Neon Prime's undoing wasn't that its gameplay sucked, but its aesthetic just wasn't appealing and it came off as generic. But this allowed Valve to flesh out the world building and setting and just move characters over, and in some cases redesigning them to fit into this alternate reality 1940s New York City known as the Cursed Apple.
Cursed Apple.
Now it's around 2023-2024, early playtests of Deadlock are being held, and these were very small in scale. From the limited knowledge we have now, these were anywhere from 1 to 2,000 players during early testing. Now, the public wouldn't find out about Deadlock until May of 2024, when player IGN would post on Twitter about the closed test happening on Steam. Then fast forward to August of 2024, this is when the proverbial bubble popped. On SteamDB, it was showing that over 10,000 players were currently playing Deadlock, and gameplay was spreading like wild.
And this is starting when? Okay, the years are too small. I can't see it.
Wildfire online. It's important to mention that players who took part in this test were not required to sign any sort of NDA. All there was a message from Valve on the main screen saying, Deadlock is still in early development with a lot of temporary art and experimental gameplay. Do not share anything.
I think Valve knows what it's doing. You know, it's how do you call this? Do you remember the movie Fight Club? Do you remember the first rule of Fight Club? Do not talk about Fight Club. Oh man, so yeah, I think they knew what they were doing by just posting this.
About the game with anyone. This obviously did not work, and gameplay and clips were quickly flooding the internet as more and more players received invites from others already in the game. A little over a week later, Deadlock's Steam page was officially made, and any of the quote-unquote restrictions that were in place were lifted. Even though Valve finally publicly acknowledged Deadlock, we still knew nothing about when it was planning to release, how far into development it even was, or anything. But that didn't really matter. What was clear from the start is that players were enjoying the game, even in its very early stage.
I want to know
what the hell was the game anyway?
Dude, man.
As I said a couple of times already, Deadlock is a 6v6 third-person shooter MOBA. Well, that is true. It actually goes much deeper than that. You have your standard lanes like in other MOBAs. Deadlock has 3, yellow, blue, and green, and at first there were actually 4 lanes with a purple one. But this was changed in February of 2025, giving us the 3-lane setup we still have today. In those 3 lanes, you of course have your minion waves on either side, along with your map objectives. Those being your Guardian, Walker, and then finally Base Guardians. Then in each base themselves, you have 2 shrines, then finally the Patron, which can either be the Hidden King or the Archmother, depending on what team you're on. Now, while Deadlock is unmistakably a MOBA, it's also just as much a third-person movement shooter, and perhaps even more so. The thing to me that without question sets Deadlock apart is the shooter aspect of it. It really feels like Valve developed a really tight, good-feeling movement shooter, then decided, fuck it, let's throw it into a MOBA map, and it just works. Each character has their own weapon that has varying stats and can range from standard pistols to assault rifles to whatever the hell Drifter's doing. Alongside that, Deadlock has tons of movement tech.
There's the bellhop. He has keys. I wonder what his powers are. It looks like he has a revolver or a Dillinger.
That you don't see in MOBAs and is usually reserved for games like Apex Legends, for example. Dashes, air dashes, dash jumps, wall jumps, double jumps, sliding. There's even air vents around the map that shoot you through the air, which opens up the play area a ton, alongside zips that help you scale up buildings and zip lines that come out of your base and the enemy's base. There's just so much here, and as a new player,
if you take a look at the female characters on this game, they're not so hyper sexualized, and it still works. They look like they're still pleasing to the eyes. Okay, I got a call. I'll be right back. Okay. Cut. Sorry about that. I just need to take that call. But let's get back to the video.
I haven't even gotten close to taking advantage of all of it. Things like dashes, dash jumps, and double jumps can all be performed using stamina. Each character starts with a varying amount, but it's usually 2 or 3 with some exceptions. Also, being a Valve-developed game in Source Engine means many things carry over from a game like TF2, for example. You can airstrafe in this just by holding A or D and moving your mouse left or right. Even from a game like Apex Legends, which in my limited research is also a Source game at heart, although it's a heavily modified version of it. This means you can do things like super glide off of of ledges. Oh, and by the way, every character can do this. No matter who it is, every character can take advantage of the movement system. Some will certainly have an easier time with it than others, and some also have skills revolving around it, but it's here for everyone to use.
Double
Now,
jump.
Valve, being the absolute psychopaths they are, even added an entire melee system to the game, which again, every character can take advantage of. You have light melees, heavy melees, and even a parry. Yes, you can parry your enemy.
Dude, finally, you can combo your enemy instead of just stab, 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 stab.
In this game, which sometimes can guarantee a kill if done by you or done to you by an enemy. Also, something to note is that your heavy melee also doubles as a movement ability, as it can give you some needed reach when traversing the map, and allows you to do things like this to reach areas of the map easier while conserving stamina. Speaking of psychopaths, I think now is a good time to address the elephant in the room, or in this case, the dinosaur. I mentioned earlier a developer by the name of Yoshi. Now, Yoshi for many years has been the guy when it comes to Deadlock, constantly posting things to the Discord, like new heroes, or more importantly, tons and tons of patch notes and updates to the game. Maybe wondering who Yoshi actually is, especially when they seem to be spearheading operations on the next Valve title. Well, perhaps the worst kept secret in Deadlock is that Yoshi is actually Ice Frog. Now, if you're like me and you never played Dota before, that name may mean nothing to you, but Ice Frog was actually the lead developer behind Dota 2. You know, Valve's other wildly popular MOBA. He helped shape Dota into the esports powerhouse it had been over the years, even if it's seen declining numbers today. Ice Frog notoriously prefers to remain anonymous, most likely the reason for the Yoshi cover-up. I should add, there is not 100% confirmation from Valve that Yoshi and Ice Frog are the same person, but doing some research online, it becomes rather clear that these two are most likely the same person, though I wouldn't be surprised if we never actually found out for certain. Shifting back to the MOBA side of things, besides trying to destroy the enemy towers and ultimately the patron to win the game, there are other side objectives that pop up during matches, like the Soul Urn, for example. This urn spawns in and allows anybody on the map to pick it up, and now the game essentially turns into Capture the Flag, where the one holding the urn is visible on the map for everyone to see as they try to deliver the urn to the opposite.
Huh. Okay. So it's not just a MOBA. There's other objectives. Interesting. Chaotic. Could be fun.
Side of the map, and you're gonna want to do this as well, because this gives your entire team a varying amount of souls, which can give you a substantial advantage over the enemy team or help you get back in the game. Also, I think I forgot to mention it, but souls are your currency in this game that you use to buy items at the shop. Think of it like gold in League of Legends or something. Alongside that, there's also the mid boss, which spawns in at 10 minutes, and upon defeat allows any 3 players on the map to heavy melee this crystal, which then gives 3 total revives to the team, effectively turning a team fight from a 6v6 to a 9v6, which is a...
How do you 9v6? Well, it doesn't show on this screen, but how?
literal game changer. Now, as I mentioned, this can be...
Does it summon 3 other players to like play on your side?
done by anyone, meaning often a team might try to run in and steal the crystal from the opposing team that killed the mid boss, which often results in utter madness in the boss arena. Every 5 minutes, there's also these buffs that spawn here and here, referred to as bridge buffs. These grant massive buffs to the player that smashes them, ranging from health, spirit, aka your abilities, weapon, or movement buffs, and they last for 160 seconds or 2 minutes and 40 seconds. These can lead to a giant power spike early and throughout the game that can shift the match for whichever team claims them. There is a lot more here to discuss, like boxes, golden idols, jungle camps, sinner sacrifice boxes, but this isn't meant to be a review or a guide, so for the sake of time, let's move on to another very unique aspect.
Here's my question though. Is it just gonna be like one map? One kind of like a Fortnite? Just one giant map that you play on over and over again? They'll probably change it once in a while in a season kind of thing. Now, it is in beta, so who knows?
Deadlock. Now, I just mentioned jungle camps, but unlike other MOBAs before it, Deadlock doesn't have any set roles. There's no dedicated jungler, mid laner, solo laner. There's no solo lane at all, since it's 2 people per lane. What this does is greatly open up the playbook, if you will. Since characters aren't necessarily stuck to a specific role, you can really play them however you want, or more importantly, to what your team needs. A character like Ivy is one of the best examples of this. She has lots of stuff in her kit that lend her to more of a support role. However, she also has a good balance of wave and jungle clearing as well. So say your team is full of damage dealers, you could very easily build Ivy to support them. But then in a different match, you might find that your team damage is lacking. You can just as easily transition to a more carry focused damage dealing build. Remember, Deadlock is still in development and things are changing literally every day. So who knows how this looks in the future, but for right now, it certainly helps every match and every character feel unique. Before wrapping up, I quickly want to touch on some of the awesome quality of
Dude, when Valve did those character trailers for what's that again? Oh, my head. For not Fortnite, god damn it. No. When they did Team Fortress 2. There you go. God damn brain farts. When they did the character trailers for Team Fortress 2, I was collecting, kind of like collecting them back then. So I wonder if they're gonna do one for each character also. That'd be very interesting.
life features that you rarely see in fully released games, let alone early access titles. For example, there's an entire build browser built into the game that lets you access tons of people's builds for every single character in the game. As daunting as trying to figure out what you should buy is, this makes the game so much more approachable, especially if you aren't very familiar with MOBAs. There's even an entire theater mode that lets you watch
You got a couple of shadows over there.
any match happening at any given time. How this works is every single match of Deadlock has a unique match ID, which you can paste into here, and boom, you can spectate the entire thing. This even stores replays. So say you want to watch how a pro player plays Mina, for example, you can search them up on a third-party website and instantly see all their recent matches with the IDs. To finally finish things off, I want to talk about
I'd probably call her what's her name? Amelia? Nah, yeah, that's fine. Never mind. Sorry.
and really just praise how well does
Mina.
if I want to talk about and really just praise how
Oh, she is a vampire. Okay.
well designed these characters are.
Yeah. Sorry. I was trying to associate her with Amelia from that government British game.
We've seen it time and time again, whether it be Concord or what's happening now with Highguard, just generic, uninspired heroes who people don't really have an easy time relating to. Deadlock is almost the complete opposite of that, and perhaps the biggest praise I can give to it is that every
Ooh, they got a magician also? Little, let's see. Rewind just a bit. Oh, okay, so you got a priest, kind of like Helsing. You got Frankenstein.
really have an easy time relating to. Deadlock is almost the
Okay, you got I guess a ghost over there or something. I don't know what flashed.
complete opposite of that, and perhaps the
There you go. He got a magician. All right. I got my two favorites already. This magician and bellhop. Yeah, I haven't played this at all, but I like those characters. Those are probably my my mains. Those will be my mains. If it does come out sometime this year, hopefully. Please.
biggest praise I can give to
Oh, she's a werewolf. Okay.
it is that every
And of course the Elvis monkey guy. I don't know. I'd probably stay away from this guy. Rage, bleed, and repeat. Mm, I don't know. I don't know. If this character, Shiv, has a really good gameplay, all right, he'll be my third character. But right now, he's not. I'm not feeling it. I don't feel the vibes for this character.
Every one of these characters just feels human, even if they aren't. I don't want to go too deep into this because I'm planning on making a dedicated video on how well these characters are designed. But
you saw that? You saw that? The little the I forgot what you call those cops from London.
truly, these are some of the most likable characters I think I've ever seen in a video game.
You have a hat, and I have a hat.
That's right.
We're hat brothers.
Sure.
Brothers for life.
Okay, that was scary. Brothers for life.
Great.
Great.
Deadlock is seriously one of the best / most fun games I think I've ever played, and it's not even out yet. I know that may seem like hyperbole or I'm being dramatic, but that's just how I feel, man. What Valve already has.
The only thing I'm kind of afraid about this. Well, I do play a lot of Helldivers with my friends for at least 2 to 3 hours. But it looks like one match lasts for 1 hour.
As here is insanely special, and it seems like that Valve magic is still flowing even after all these years. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about Deadlock because I've been enjoying the absolute hell out of it recently, and I highly recommend you give it a go if you haven't already. I know MOBAs can seem really daunting, and if you're not really into hero shooters, this might seem like not your thing. I would still implore you to give it a go, especially with a couple of friends, because I really think that there's something here for like everybody. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
All right. This is a video from Basic. Thank you for the video, Basic. And I am definitely looking forward to this game. It's a MOBA and a hero shooter all at once. I never played a MOBA before because it looked too complicated. It still looked complicated, but it looks better in the third person kind of view. Alright, you guys, that's it for tonight. Goodbye.